Chapter 8, the Jefferson Era, Section 2, the Louisiana Purchase. Thousands of settlers moved west of the Appalachian Mountains by the 1800s, so much so that Kentucky, Tennessee, and Ohio were then admitted as states. So here are the Appalachians right here. And then you have Tennessee and Kentucky in this area, and Ohio. These areas became states now. So because those are states, you depended on the Mississippi River right here and the Ohio River right there to move products to the east side of the country. Jefferson worried about foreign control of New Orleans and Louisiana. And so, because a foreign country like Spain or France could shut down the use of the Mississippi River. We've already seen one example of that with Spain shutting down New Orleans. So Spain had control of New Orleans and Louisiana, but eventually, let me stretch this out a little bit. So Spain had control of course, Florida here, and all this land out here, and all this land. So Spain gave up the Louisiana Territory, which is this area, to France in a treaty. Now, Jefferson was concerned that if whichever country it is had control, New Orleans, which is right here, would be blocked, and we had no access to the Mississippi River. So that was important to Thomas Jefferson. French leader Napoleon, who now is in control of this Louisiana Territory, wanted to rebuild France's empire in North America. Remember, it was all lost after the French and Indian War. And so he was planning on this, but then a rebellion broke out on his little island colony of Haiti in the Caribbean. And because he spent so much time trying to put down that rebellion and spent a whole bunch of money, Napoleon kind of gave up on his dream of having a French empire in North America. That was in 1802. Napoleon was really willing to sell the Louisiana Territory because he was already fighting another war over in Europe, and he needed all the money he could get. So he was willing to sell Louisiana to the United States, again, to help finance his wars in Europe, and the price was $15 million, which, in today's standards, that's hardly anything for this huge piece of land. Jefferson agreed to the terms. He bought it for $15 million, and the Senate approved it, and we purchased the Louisiana Territory. So all this right here is what we got from France in that deal for $15 million. So here's the one side. This is the United States over here. And now with the purchase of Louisiana, that doubled the size of the United States. Meriwether Lewis and William Clark were hired to lead an expedition to explore the Louisiana Purchase. They were to take notes on everything they saw, to the plants, to the animals, to the landscape, to the peoples that were on those lands, and then bring it back to Jefferson because he was just so curious about it. So the expedition began in St. Louis on May 14th, 1804, and it reached the Pacific Ocean on November 1805, so in November of 1805. So a little over a year it took to head from St. Louis to the Pacific. Lewis used interpreters to talk to leaders of each of the peoples that they met and told them that they are now on land that is owned by the United States. And they relied on the goodwill of people that they met, like the Shoshone and the Nez Perce Indians, and of course individuals like Sacagawea, who was a Shoshone Indian, who served as a guide and an interpreter. Here's Sacagawea right here. Another expedition was led by Zebulon Pike, that's him, to explore the lands of the Louisiana Territory near the western border with New Spain. So that would include parts of Colorado. So he wandered into Colorado, into the Rocky Mountains, and saw this great wonder right here, which eventually was named after him, called Pike's Peak. But eventually he did accidentally travel through Spanish territory and was promptly arrested and was held for a while. Though he actually enjoyed his time in New Spain, and he praised all the opportunities for doing business with the Spanish, so it wasn't like they treated him horribly or anything. But Pike's report of this area offered Americans the first description of the southwestern part of our land. That is the end of section 2.